Not soon enough. Thank you guys for coming down today.
No problem. So, in your estimation, what happened at Xavier?
You know, unfortunately, and I don't want to oversimplify it, we played poorly. You know, we had too many people that had bad games. And then we did a poor job. You know, you get down, we claw back in it, you know, I think we ended up down 2. And then our decisions offensively were not good, and that we were taking bad shots. We were, you know, one pass and the guy's just putting his head down trying to draw. Our offensive decision-making led to easier baskets for them. And then, you know, we didn't respond well, and that you get frustrated because of the offense, and then you fall asleep on defense. And so, Santa Claus come see y'all?
Yes.
You mean you were good?
Yes.
All right. And so that's, I mean, that's simple, but, you know, we have to be, and we have been, but we have to be significantly better offensively and defensively than we were out there.
Trey Campbell gave you more minutes than previously. Talk about his performance.
Well, I mean, I thought he was on. He competed.
Yeah.
You know, he got out there. You know, he offensively he was able to get us into what we wanted. Defensively, he was keeping us. He was effective. He was very effective. I thought. You know, at both ends of the court, which is fine. I mean, Trey's comfortable. I'm comfortable with Trey out there. Maybe more important than all that, I think his teammates are comfortable when he's out there. So I think that the minutes he gave us, you know, the outcome wasn't what we wanted, but I thought his minutes were very good.
Foul trouble's been an issue at times this year, was a little bit at times the other night. I think you guys are second most in the conference in fouls per game. Obviously, at some level, it's hard to, fouls are subjective, and you have to tell your guys the best. You defend a certain way, try your best, you know, tendencies. But what can you say, if anything, more than that, to these guys about the need to avoid foul trouble?
You know, I think it's a lot of watching tape. It's a lot of reps. It's a lot of talking about what, you know, it varies year to year. And I'm not saying this as a negative, but, you know, how they're calling the game. And, you know, I think we have to do a good job, a better job from game to game, where you can realize early on, okay, this is how they're calling the game. And then you make adjustments with how you guard, what you guard. And so we just have to, the guys have to do a better job of understanding how the game is being played and making adjustments on the fly and listening. As a staff, we talk about what's happening, what's not happening, what's going to happen. We have to listen better.
So we've talked about the three-point defense the last few games. How much does the foul trouble impact what guys can do? Jabril was saying that sometimes you get foul trouble, it's a little harder to be aggressive. Guy gets by you, then he kicks it out, and cycle. What does this foul trouble do for that three-point defense?
It shouldn't affect it. I mean, and then the next guy that gets in there has to do his job. You know, what Jabril said is accurate in that we're allowing too much penetration, which then causes people to overhelp, which we have to. I mean, it starts with penetration. We have to keep our body in front of our man. I mean, they've been drilled, lectured, film session, everything you can to understand. We're giving up too many open, uncontested threes. And then we go out and we make the same mistakes. And so, but it starts with, you know, if I'm guarding Ron and Ron gets the edge on me, well, someone's coming to help, and then our rotations aren't as slow. And we have to, I said this before the last game, and then we have to do a better job of anticipating what's going to happen next. So if Ron, my man, beats me, person B comes over to help me, person C can't be standing there not paying attention and reacting to, okay, he's driving, I was going to kick him. I think we're not anticipating as a unit. You know, our defensive rotations have not been what they've been in years past yet, and I'm not sure why. Trust me, we've spent more time on it the last couple of weeks than we ever have, and it hadn't settled in yet.
Obviously, this is another team that shoots a ton of threes. They shoot the most in the conference. No Doug McDermott, so that's a good thing. But what's the challenge with these guys?
Well, that's the trap they can lull you into, and that correct. There's no Doug McDermott, but they still put 5 terrific, really good shooters on the court. So, I mean, do they have the National Player of the Year? No, but do they have guys that are as good or better than probably most of the guys who played so far this year? Yes. And so, you know, there's no security in the fact that Doug's not there because the guys that are playing this year put the ball in the basket.
What's the textbook attack for their Packline defense? They kind of they're known to clog it in and demand that you shoot, basically.
Well, I mean, I think ball movement is important. You can't be stagnant and just look for one particular thing. The ball, you have to keep them moving. You have to change size of the court, and then be ready to shoot when you're open. And we're gonna get open shots. That doesn't mean we're not going into this with the mindset, okay, we're gonna chuck up a bunch of threes, but you have to be ready when you're open and it comes to you to shoot. But I think movement is important. They're outstanding if they can keep you on one side of the court and stagnant.
When they come down court, they spread the corners, they put the ball in number one's hand. How do you stop him from getting into those lanes, finding people, and making them go?
He's really good at that, and he's telling our guys, we've been talking for a couple days, we played some pretty good teams this year, but with the ball in his hands, he might be the fastest person we played this year. And keeping you, and then in the half court, and that's full court. I mean, he's coming, they're sprinting to the corners, as you said. And then in the half court, they set those so many on balls for him, and he gets an edge, and he gets an edge, and he gets an edge. And so it's just hard work. I don't necessarily think there's a strategy of a magic formula we can come up with. But our guys are going to have to make a conscious effort on the change of possession to get back. All 5 guys have to get back, and so you can help whoever's defending him kind of corral him a little bit, as opposed to being spread out so he can pick and choose. And then in the half court, we have to be good at however we're going to play home balls, and we may mix it up how we do that. But being able to help, support, and then close out hard if and when he picks it up.
The last 2 years, right about this time, you received some unwanted news with players becoming ineligible. How are you? How are you marking this time at this point? How do you you just waiting for that clock to get past? I'm sure you're on top of everything, but how do you?
Damn, you just want to bring up bad news.